Hello everyone, welcome back to the Comprehensive Guide to Solo. Finally, we can do Diego Vargas Salas's request. If I mispronounced that, I apologize. Now, they requested Zeus. Not Zeus, what am I saying? Oh my goodness, I can't speak tonight. They requested Odin. And Odin is fairly interesting in terms of warriors. Because if you compare Odin to a lot of his contemporaries, most of them have some form of I can't speak. Most of them have some form of self-sustain. The only ones that don't are King Arthur, who very easily can build some self-sustain in Soul Eater, Nike, who also can do so, Osiris, who can of course build Death's Toll, and Cuchulainn, who straight up doesn't use mana at all and doesn't really need as much sustain as the rest of us. With that being said, however, no, not this. There we go. With that being said, however, we do have a couple of interesting facts that make Odin uniquely more useful than a lot of other warriors in the role. The first is Bird Bomb, or the Raven Shout specifically, where a lot of warriors have some way of increasing their protections, or self-sustain, or some combination of the two. Odin has, instead, a temporary health shield that actually greatly extends his lifespan in lane, because that's incredibly useful when boxing in the early to mid game. And he's got his Ring of Spears, which reduces the attack speed of opponents, as well as completely eliminating... Oh, that's an interesting team composition. Okay. We're going to very specifically go... My laning opponent is probably Osiris. We can out-sustain him fairly nicely if we play our cards right, which is exactly what I intend on doing here today. Anyways, back to the point. The interesting thing about Odin's ult is that with the fact that it reduces attack speed and healing, this makes Odin one of the extremely few solo laners that can actually hold his own against laning opponents like Osiris, who can auto-attack their way into a lot of early wins in boxing matches. The catch here is that if Osiris ever gets his full ghost form, he can just walk out of the cage. But the fact that you then have to force him to do that to survive is incredibly potent. Alright? It reduces their power now, not their attack speed, but it still is just as effective. I keep forgetting they changed it. Reducing their power by 15% is actually fairly beefy because, again, power goes 100% into attack speed. It has 100% conversion. So that is unusually potent. Now, you might notice that I am building Soul Eater first. This is how I can start building those stacks. You'll also notice... I missed that auto attack, as something you'll notice. You'll also notice I am going for... I use the Gungnir's Might. There are two reasons why you want Gungnir's Might first. First off, it is slightly more damaging than Leap is. Second off, it has the very unique property of, if you have Bluestone Pendant, that is, of... Oh, that was bad for me. Of, a very unique property of... Sorry, I'm mildly focusing here. Proccing Bluestone Pendant twice. No, you're not going to stun me. Get out of here with that. Absolutely, you are going to stun me, but it's not going to mean anything at the very least. He's going to be able to beat me with Death's Toll and his better wave clear. Because he's got auto attacks for that. He's got, he's got, That was a mistake. That was not the button I wanted to hit. I got Leap instead by accident. I was supposed to get Raven Shout. Might as well just poke him out then. Goodbye. That's alright. We'll just have to play this from behind a little bit here. We're going to have a little bit of a rough time here until we get our ult, in which case we'll actually be able to do some pretty serious damage to my boy there. Alright. We're going to take this one slow. I missed that. I didn't wait long enough for the stun. He's going to get a lot of good poke on me there. Dodged that, which is good. That hit me somehow. Good. Good poke, good poke. He's going to try to poke me out at this point. Good. Increase Raven Shout whenever you can, because quite honestly, in the early game, it is both a source of damage and a source of protection. You really, really want Raven Shout to be nice and high. He can have that, to be honest. Oh, you stole my... Alright, now we're in some pretty serious trouble here. That's really bad. That really is... That is hugely damaging for Odin. And the reason why is because you've probably figured this out by now. He's really mana hungry. He takes a lot of mana. And the loss of that is really gonna hurt. Quite a lot. Gonna have to go with these and these to sustain. Alright, good. Okay, we can recover from this, but it's gonna be tricky. And I did have to spend a lot of gold on mana potions to be able to do so. Did he not build teleport? He built shell. Oh, he's done goofed. I completely whiffed that. That was terrific. Activate this. Mana potion. Is she gonna be okay? Yeah, she'll make it. See if I can get my timer. Okay, we have the timer, which is nice. Now, a big advantage, and the reason why I was able to make that rotation, is I had cleared the wave. Osiris did not. I actually have right now, or I'm actually in a decent position right now, especially since you'll notice that use a lot of their mana here. Osiris is not looking good mana-wise. I'm actually going to do some boxing here because you do not have that much mana to fight me with. And you're not going to do any damage as long as I've got my Raven Shout on. And I can use my mixed potions here, which is fantastic. Good, I've been stunned before using my spear. Good. Excellent. She got that absolutely fantastically. That was beautiful. That is exactly what I needed. That was a really well-timed, but somewhat risky gank. He was a lot closer to his tower than I probably would have been comfortable with, but she really capitalized on that very nicely. I'm very impressed. That was some crack decision making on her part. Now, the reason why you're seeing Osiris have a problem right now, he's going to be having a hard time keeping up, is due to two factors. One is he, for some unholy reason, decided to go with Mannequin Scepter. It's not necessarily that Mannequin Scepter itself is a bad thing to build on Osiris. It's actually a fairly strong item on Osiris. The issue is that it's only really strong on Osiris in situations in which... Oh, you had your... Okay, you had your ghost version, but you're not going to be able to do much here. I'm just trying to survive at this point to get my teleport back. So anyways, back to the main point. The first problem here that Osiris is facing, it comes down to the simple fact that they built Mannequin Scepter, which removes sustain here. Alright, as I mentioned earlier, Osiris does not have natural sustain. Osiris needs items to sustain for them. So if you don't build items to sustain with, you don't sustain. I missed that. That would have been nice to hit. But, oh well. Second, Osiris did not build teleport. He, for some okay, you're coming over here. You are extremely predictable. I completely whiffed that, but that's fine. You're not actually going to be able to kill me. Unless you are willing to dive you are willing to dive deep for this. Why? Why did you... What is that? What the hell was that? Excuse me? You had no business trying that. What the hell? Was Osiris back? I don't have any... Oh, yes. Osiris is back. Yeah, I know exactly what you're going to try to pull there. Oh, you're still going to try to pull this. I have Raven Shout. Don't even think... Oh, you're going to try this? Let me taunt you and see if I can get you under here. No? Alright. I have Teleport, so I really don't care. Now that I have Soul Eater, I can go into Gladiator's Shield and do just fine, thank you. I probably should buy wards, but I'm a little nervous about the cost right now, so I'm going to just leave that alone for the moment. I'm doing fairly well for myself at this particular junction, so I'm not too concerned here. Boom. Good. That was really well timed. Now, what did you build? You built Mystical Male. Interesting. Very aggressive. Here's Ao Kuang. Probably come to kill me. Oh, I did not know. Ah, shoot. That was a really odd fight. I probably shouldn't be here. No. Holy cow. Alright. You're just going to take a whole bunch of damage from the minions. That's fine with me. Do you even have lifesteal? You do. Okay, that's fair enough. I know what you're waiting for. You apparently think I'm stupid. I've got news. Oh. Oh, one more second he would have died. That's a shame. That is a crying shame. So close. Mystical Male, huh? Alright, alright. I see you. That's fine. A little bit of an interesting choice. It would not have been my first choice there. I think, Stone Cutting Edge? What is that called again? I think that would have been a better move, to be honest. Stone Cutting Sword, yeah. I think that would have been the stronger move. Decrease my protections, decrease the protections of the minions, be able to wipe them out with your AoE auto attacks a little bit faster, get 50 power, which would have increased your power by 50. I mean, this... Yeah, it's good and all, but once I get my... You didn't even steal this. What are you, sleeping? Anyways, once I get Soul Eater, that's really not going to matter because I'm going to be able to heal that fairly easily. The Mystical Male's damage, I mean. And I'm, at this point, already building stacks. And these stacks, I just have to see things die. Anything. Literally. So it's not hard to build these stacks. So I'm really not sure. Yeah, he'll have the advantage until I finish these stacks, but... Look, I can just do this. And then you're going to jump. Yep. And then that's everything there, so we can just leave. And then you're not going to follow me under tower. And I just need to see things die. Which is really easy, because, newsflash, things die all the time. You're also, somehow, already almost out of mana. To be fair, so am I, but you have a mana buff. Like, what the hell, dude, are you doing? And my teleport's back up, so, I mean, at this point, I'm pretty much fine. He's going back, which is a huge opportunity. Okay, he's going to go for the totem, which is fine. And I just want to see things die. There's that. Alright, that's fine. Yes, I am. Oh, I have my mana buff. Never mind. I'm crazy. I didn't think I had my mana buff for some reason. You are absolutely insane, Daji. Why are we going for this now? What do you call this? And now I leave? Nope. Oh, you dirty rascal. He's doing the smart play, though, the Ao Kuang. Ao Kuang does fare better against tankier opponents, so that is... The fact that he's going for me is the move for him. I have my teleport up, so it's not going to matter. And again, Osiris is going to go back, but he's not going to be able to come back as quickly. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to catch back up. Yes, I'm behind now, but I'm going to be able to catch back up because I have teleport. And that's why teleport is so important in the solo lane. If you don't have it, you're going to lose farm. Now, I'm going to make the assumption that they've stolen my mana buff. So I'm just going to clear the wave, which I didn't quite place correctly. My jump, I mean. So that's fine. We're going to go ahead and ward. Alright. I am assuming... Yeah. I heard Ao Kuang's sound, but that might have been a delayed sound. It is not delayed. I know that your teleport is down. Are we actually going for this? Apparently, yes. Okay. Nice. Now I just gotta not die over here, which is gonna be fairly interesting. Oh shoot, why is Chernobog over here? We had that before Chernobog showed up. Did they call that? What is the dual lanes doing? What is that mess in left lane? What the hell is this? Alright. Confusion aside, we're going to go for Genji's guard here at this point. Partially for the cooldowns, partially for the magic protections. Normally, I wouldn't build my big magic protection item this early, but the fact that Osiris has Mystical Mail does require me to build it a little earlier. I'll probably finish off with... I'm gonna be really honest, I'm kind of feeling Corruption. Given their team composition, I mean, Olerin is gonna self-heal. I'm gonna use these experienced camps to catch up because the, Fafnir cleared my wave for some reason. So I guess I'm now splitting back jungle with Daji here. Now I've got Soul Eater finished. And I hope he realizes this means that I've actually got fairly good odds here. Are you going to jump out of this? You aren't going to jump out of this at all. You're going to straight up just stay in there, which is interesting. I completely whipped that, but that's fine. You use your abnormally worthless shell. Why he bothered building this in the early game? Look, I want you to understand something. Okay, the reason why Shell is such a horrendous mistake. There are two reasons Shell is a horrendous mistake. First, he doesn't return to lane as quickly as I do because he doesn't have teleport. That's problem one. That's fairly self-explanatory. I really don't need to tell you why that's such a bad thing. That speaks for itself. The second problem is that Shell is really worthless in solo lane because you're only shelling yourself. Yeah, sure. The first... Why is Olerin over here? The first couple of fights you're going to have, it's going to make a fairly significant difference. Absolutely. After that, doesn't matter. It does not matter. You can see right there, yeah, there was two of us, Daji and I, sure. But I'm going to be really honest. Even if he was against me, it's just me against his shell. What are you doing, Ao Kuang? So that whole prospect is fairly sketchy right then and there. Okay, you're going to go for me then? Alright. That's fine. We're just going to do this. We're going to walk away, and we're going to teleport back. This is not a problem. I'm kind of surprised you're able to... Okay, we're going for this? What? Did you think I wasn't going to come over here, Osiris? Is that what you thought? Just because you have my boy Chernobog right there? Where's Daji? Where's Daji? She's left. What? Here comes Chiron, though, so I guess I don't care. She did him dirty. Damn. I'm glad everyone's over here to help out, but why the hell is everyone over in solo lane in the first place? What is this? Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, we actually do have enough for full Genjis. Okay. That's going to be hugely useful because everyone's coming over my lane at this point. It's like, come on, what is this? I'm going to grab Blink because we want to be fairly aggressive at this point. We're really starting to pull ahead of Osiris at this particular juncture, so we really want to capitalize on that as much as possible. We're going to grab my mana buff. We're going to first save the damn tower. There we go. That was very close. Very close. Almost didn't get that there. Perfect. Now again, another problem with not having teleport is not only can you not return to lane as quickly, which of course poses its own issues, but if you die, that is way more problematic. Even if your first death becomes very problematic at level even 1, you really, really want to have teleport. Stop that. Except what you don't know, Odin, is I'm actually after you at this point. And now you're gonna die. And now I gotta get out of here. Bye. Except now everyone's here. Surprise! Hey there, son. How you doing? I barely activated that in time. No! Oh, good play, Ao Kwang. I gotta say, that was really nice. I kind of know what I want to build for my... Yeah, I know where I want to go with this. Oh, don't worry about that, Factor. That's fine. What I want for my physical protections is I actually want Midgardian Mail. This is going to help keep the various auto-attackers. Actually, to be honest, the only one who doesn't auto-attack on their team in any capacity is Bacchus. Actually, maybe... Yeah, this would probably be better, honestly. 10 less protections, but Aura that serves a better purpose for my team and gives me cooldowns, giving me 40% cooldown total. Yeah, sign me up. We're actually going to sell this ward here so I can actually wait a couple seconds and... Never mind. I'm slightly poorer than I thought I was. Alright. Needed a quick hydration break there. Now, my last item is going to be fairly interesting. I was originally thinking I was going to do Heartseeker, but I may not. I might just go in for the glorious Mantle of Discord. No, Mantle of Discord would not work, would it? Could go for Hide of the Urchin. Or I could go for the pretty serious late game damage with Heartseeker. Choices, choices. Well, I have the axe that I get to evolve, so I might go for Heartseeker. Because once I evolve the axe, that's going to be protections. Sorry, we're a little late on that. I completely whiffed that. We're just going to whip out the Raven Shout here. He's not going to do anything to me. No, you don't win this anymore. You've lost your window of opportunity to kill me. You really have. You have no idea what you're doing. And I'm going to get stunned. That's fine. Now, this is the real strength of Raven Shout. It's particularly noticeable here, but this is really what I'm talking about when I say that Odin can really effectively fight auto-attackers. You let me do that. You let me do that. What are you doing? Notice that I am massively beating him out in terms of damage here. And that's mostly Raven Shout, honestly. Who's behind me? Olerin? Yeah. I don't know why you thought that was a good idea. I have Chiron here. I really don't care at this point anymore. Good ult. You've also lost your opportunity, guy. They've lost the plot completely. Stun me. Do it. You didn't even stun me. What are you doing, guy? You went for the Chiron, which is nice and all, but means nothing. What the hell are they thinking? Look. I have hit what's known as critical mass, which was very evidently shown there. I'm going to be very difficult to kill. This is from a combination of my protections and my ability to heal from Soul Eater and the Axe. Okay? This is critical mass. I just went from fighting Osiris 1v1 and winning handily to fighting Osiris and Olrin, to killing Osiris, and then Ao Kuang, the former bane of my existence, getting involved, me slapping him down, at least in part, and then finally cleaning up Olrin. It's just, I am going to be very difficult. Look, I can tank it with you now. I came into this fight at less than full, and I can already tell you, I'm going to win this fight. 100%. Unless there's interference from an outside source, which is exactly what I am saving my ult for. You do not understand. Look at this. I am 100% winning this fight, because he is not timing any of this correctly. Okay, there it is. Oh, wait, we have a problem here. I went the wrong way. Now we have an issue. Nope. Oh, he did get me. He did catch up to me. Alright, they won that one because Ao Kuang's ult, which is fair. But again, you'll notice that even when I went into that fight against Osiris at less than full health, I had about 2/3 of my health, maybe 3/4. I was still winning. Alright, now I'm going to grab Witchblade. Now it's going to be harder for Ao Kuang to kill me. It's going to be harder for literally everyone to kill me except Bacchus. Alright, we're in a really strong position. Now I'm going to grab Heartseeker, and I'm going to be doing bonus damage. This may not be the best idea, actually. Hold on. Thinking about it very carefully. No, that'll allow me to heal more and do more damage. I think this is what I want at this time. Well, if need be, we can sell it for some more protections down the road. We'll find out. We'll find out. That's part of being a solo lane, is you got to figure out, hey, is this working? No? All right, let me switch this up real quick. I almost saved it. Right now I'm trying to get to level 20 so I can upgrade my axe and get some more protections out of that. Alright, I'm going to clear one more wave, and then I'm going to go figure out what the hell they're all doing in left lane. Actually, no. We're going to make a slight change in plan there. We're going to grab this. And then we're going to go help out with whatever the hell they're doing. What is this, anyways? What are they all doing? And Ao Kuang dies to the mid lane tower for some unholy reason. What? This is a really wild match. Now, this is actually another strength of Odin, is the fact that everyone dies, he gets a movement speed boost. This is unusually useful, because once you hit level 12, if you're ahead, which I wasn't at the time, I was level 12, but if you're ahead, you're level 12, the enemy's kicking around, you know, you can absolutely do some pretty incredible things, rotation-wise. Yeah, you've already done your leap, though, so you're in kind of some serious trouble here, guy. Oh, hold on. We've got the whole world over here. We got to get out of here. This is no longer a good fight. Oh, no, that is not your fault. That is 100% not Fafnir's fault. He's fine. You're fine. Don't even worry about it, guy. I'm going to protect you. Or die trying, damn it. Alright. Hi there, how you doing? Shoot. I didn't throw my spear fast enough. You're just dead. I want you to understand this in no uncertain terms. Drop dead fool. Hold on, I'm dying. Alright, I can't tank this for anything right now. That's fine. That's fine. You want to go for their jungle stuff? That's fine. Wait, how did Ao Kuang... Oh, he's warning me off from Ao Kuang. That makes more sense. Peekaboo. No. You don't escape Odin. He's not wrong. Anyways, before we got into that really wild team fight, as I was saying, the fact that you get a movement speed boost when people start dying means even if a rotation starts going south as you're approaching, it does not matter. Just go for it. I've got my, I should have used the first rune, but I was busy trying not to die there. I'm trying not to get popped up anyways. I'm gonna die. Kill it. Thank you. Oh, I almost died for that. But again, more to the point, another point in favor of Raven Shield. Sometimes you don't need extra protections. Sometimes all you need is a little bit of extra health. And it can work absolute unholy wonders for you. Another really big positive to building Soul Eater on Odin, which I don't always do, it really depends on the team composition. I'll talk about why I chose it here in a bit. But another benefit to Soul Eater on Odin is that I can bust out Raven Shout, not be taking health damage, and as life is going on, I can be healing back. He's gonna stand. He just left me with all these minions that he could have used against me in a really interesting team fight and a really interesting boxing match. He still probably would have lost because I don't like his build and all. Again, talk about why I don't like his build a little bit later. Look at the. I'm already almost fully healed. I went from almost dead with the fire giant. Look how much health I heal when I bird bomb. It doesn't seem like a lot, but considering my protections. Are you serious? Are you serious right now? What are you doing? You can't kill me anymore. Unless I'm already at low health. Look at how little damage he does. Guy. Okay, he's getting reinforcements. That's a different story. I'm out of here. I'm not fighting these two together. You're still losing. What are you doing? Are you actually... He has totally abandoned you, guy. I just want you to understand this. Okay, this is just an infinite fight here, because neither of us are killing each other, honestly. I'm healing off of him, he's healing off of me. This is an infinite fight of nightmares. Shouldn't let me do that. I'm slowly winning this fight. There we go. You're not the only one who can get reinforcements, guy. I don't understand what he's thinking. That fight was never going to end. We were both healing off of each other too much. This is actually... This just cinched the deal for Heartseeker. I wasn't sure if I wanted Heartseeker or if I wanted more protections. Once I get my improved Warrior's Axe and Heartseeker, I win that fight hands down easily. But you can even see where even somebody who does really well against tanks, I'm able to fight him blow for blow. And granted, basically it's like Jack Sparrow versus Barbossa at the end of the first Pirates, sure. But, I mean, still, where, I'll hear where. Okay, I've clearly been lost in the plot. I've been boxing too many people. I don't know where the enemy team is. Oh, they're all, okay. Sundering Axe, and we get the Persistent Teleport. We get Corrupted Blink Rune. This is going to be fairly interesting. Alright. 3 here. And I've got Fafnir. That's all I need. That's all I need. Hey, punk. You're probably going to jump out of this, aren't you? No, you're going to sacrifice yourself for the sake of taking a tower. Are you nuts? You stand there. Let me hit you with that. Alright, cool. This isn't going to save you. I just want you to understand this. Because peekaboo. Guess what? I have a stun. And a dodgy, apparently. Yeah. Goodbye. Oi. They're nuts. Here, Akwang. Let's make sure this doesn't happen. Where'd he go? There he is. Alright, let's go. I will fully trust in the Fafnir. He knows what he's doing. Ah. Oh, it ended just in time. Were you picking on my friend? You picking on Fafnir? Yeah, that's what I thought, punk. What the... Oh, it's just Bacchus. Nope, you already bounced, so I already know you're gonna die in here. There we go, there we go. I don't think we should take this. We really shouldn't try to press our luck on that. Yeah, we should take this tower. Chiron did the smart thing here. Now, normally, split pushing is silly. But the Chiron correctly predicted that we weren't going to need his help in mid lane and went for this, which is absolutely fantastic. That's what a lot of people get wrong about split pushing. This has very little to do with solo lane, because solo laners really shouldn't be split pushing. But just so you know, split pushing is best done preemptively. If you either know your team is going on a suicide mission, or you know that your team doesn't need your help, one of the two, you're 100% certain, split push. If you're not 100% certain, it's better to be with the team than not. I am so going to die for this. Just let me heal. I did not heal enough off of that. Can we please retreat? We're going to die here at this point. Fafnir and I, the tanks of the group, we can't, oh, they're going for the, I don't know if we can take this. Maybe we can. I could always ult if I really needed to. Don't you die on me, Fafnir. I was gonna say. I can't believe she hit that. He watched that go towards him. What? Why is everyone in this match insane, including myself? No. Aokwang's gonna ult either Fafnir or I, and it's gonna get very ugly very quickly. This is gonna go downhill. Down where? Downhill very quickly if we let this. I just want to keep an eye on Chiron here, which I think he's taunting the enemy, which is never a generally good idea when you're by yourself. Oh, he's gonna get himself killed. What is this guy doing? I'm gonna teleport in and hope I can get to him in time. I'm not sure I can. Come on, Chiron. Stay alive for a couple of more seconds. Yes. Get out of here, Chiron. Go, my guy. Yes. I cannot believe that worked. I cannot believe... Why are you back here? I just saved your life. What the hell are you doing, guy? Homing spear for the win. Homing spear for the win. By the way, yeah, I would surrender too after that. Alright. I mean, the nice thing about Odin as well is he is so easy to understand the actual mechanics of this. But I do want to kind of cover the strats as you were seeing them in the game. I covered over some of them, particularly about the, particularly versus auto-attacking solo laners, which I was very fortunate to get Odin. Why do I keep calling Osiris Odin? I was very fortunate to get an Osiris as my landing opponent because it really showed off sort of Odin at his best, because most ability-based warriors like Odin have a really hard time with auto-attacking opponents in lane. But because Odin's ult reduces their power by 15%, this is hugely impactful on their damage output. But it used to decrease their attack speed, which was even more useful. That was sort of the golden age of Odin. Now we're in just the silver age. But the decrease in power still is very impactful. Okay? 15% doesn't sound like a lot, but you put Chernobog in that cage. I want you to understand very, very importantly, 15% of his power was a good, I want to say 45-ish power. That is 45 less basic attack damage. Alright, again, that doesn't sound like a ton, but then you also have to keep in mind that I'm running, 211 physical protections, right? I'm going to round this for you. This means I was mitigating roughly 75% of incoming physical damage. So Chernobog is down to, let's round to 300. He's in my ult, he's down to 300 damage. I'm mitigating 75% of that, so I'm mitigating what? I want to say like 250. So he's doing 50 damage a pop. Now this is really rough math, obviously. I'm doing a lot of rounding. I'm doing a lot of approximations, but it's approximately correct. I'm sure somebody, if you're interested in doing like the specific maths, we can 100%. You know what? Let's actually go into the specific maths. So we have 340. I'm going to round to 49 here. Well, actually 261 down by 0.15. So that's a loss of 39 power. So we're going to round that to 40, which is fairly close. So we have 309 power. We are going to be, you're only going to be doing 25% of that. So Chernobog was hitting me for roughly between 70 and 80 power. With crits, that would be, if he got a crit on me, that would be a good, oh gosh, I can't remember what the crit damage is nowadays. I want to say it's like, he's probably hitting me for anywhere from 75 to 150 damage per auto attack, depending on whether or not he crits, roughly speaking. Which is a fairly nice decrease in his ability to damage me. Now, I say this, you're probably thinking, well, Professor, what about penetration? He's got 10% here, and he has a conditional 10% here. So, yeah, I would be running, he has 10 to 20% penetration at any given time. This means he is approximately reducing my protections by anywhere from 21 to 42. So I would be running, at worst case scenario, roughly 170 physical protections, which is going to give me mitigation somewhere between 50 and 75%. Let's be fairly approximate. Let's say 65%. I'm taking 2/3 the damage, 2/3 of his damage at this point. So that's going to be 300, 2/3. I'm taking about 100 damage, 100 to 150 damage a pop, roughly speaking. All right, per auto attack. While he's in my ult. When he's not in my ult, he's doing 150 to 200. 225 probably. Which is a little bit more impressive, but you can see the really important difference there. That's the point. Odin is unusually effective against any auto-attacking based enemies because of that 15% power reduction. Because that also equivalently reduces their auto-attack damage by that same percentage. Now, it's a little bit less effective on magic auto-attackers like Ao Kuang, which is why it didn't seem to do as much to him. It didn't. Ao Kuang's power conversion to his basic attack is only 20%. So a 15% reduction in his power only affects his abilities. And even then, those aren't scaling at 100% anyways. So it's much less effective against anybody ability-based or even magic auto-attackers like Ao Kuang, Soul being the only exception. And Kronos, actually. But beyond Kronos and Soul, really, it doesn't have as much of an impact on the magic auto-attackers, but it's still enough of an impact where it can give you the edge in those fights. So Odin is a warrior that I would recommend all solo laners become familiar with, because he is unusually effective in that lane against auto-attacking solo laners. Now, of course, you're kind of taking a gamble on whether or not your opponent is going to be an auto-attacking solo laner. That really depends on the meta at any given season. But it's good to know that he can fight these people. So that way, if the meta does turn towards auto-attacking solo laners, which sometimes it does, you have Odin in your back pocket that you can use. Because once he hits level 5 and gets that ult, you've got a really strong fighting chance. Those first 5 levels, as you could see from the beginning of this episode, those first 5 levels are rough. They are very difficult. And Osiris did pull the surprise move of grabbing, of all things, Mystical Mail. Now, I have issues with Mystical Mail that I'll talk about in a little bit, but he busted that out, and that made life a little bit difficult past that, and he probably built that because he realized that my ult was going to be majorly damaging. He didn't want to build Stone Cutting Sword and lose 15% of that power, right? He didn't want that to happen. So he didn't let it happen. He built Mystical Mail instead. Now, again, once, and I pointed this out at the time, once I evolved Soul Eater and I started healing from my ability, well, I started substantially healing from my abilities, the damage output from this was so small at that point that I didn't care. And then once I built Genji's Guard, it basically didn't exist at all to me, right? That's why I built the way I did. I built Soul Eater and Warrior's Axe, eventually Sundering Axe, specifically because I did expect to go against Osiris, okay? Osiris, as I pointed out before, does not have any individual form of self-sustain. So I knew if I built Soul Eater and Warrior's Axe, once the minions were dead and he couldn't heal off of them, although frankly with Soul Eater I could heal off of them as well, I would actually be able to box him. He gave me the advantage by not building Death's Toll. Alright, I'll explain why that's an issue later. Now, Odin is also fairly unique, and I mentioned this in passing, but I didn't really explain what I was talking about. Odin's Gungnir's Might, the spear throw. After that first shockwave, if you throw the spear after that first shockwave, everyone nearby that is allied with you gets an attack speed bonus, which is huge against towers, phoenixes, jungle camps. It's actually why I threw it so quickly under the phoenixes a couple of times, why I threw it after the first one. I was just increasing the attack speed of primarily Chiron and or Daji. The first phoenix, I think we only had Daji, but I think for the second one we had Chiron, as well as the third one. I actually mentioned this specifically being a problem when we were trying to take out the fire giant, where I mentioned that I held Gungnir's Might too long, and I held it that long because I was avoiding the pop-up from the lava blast by the fire giant. That was why I held it that long. You're knock-up immune when you're holding Gungnir like that. I would have preferred in a perfect world to have just done the first glyph or shockwave. They're called glyphs in his ability description. Hold for the first glyph and throw it after the first glyph to give Chiron and Discordia more attack speed. But unfortunately, due to my bad timing, my personal bad timing, I did not get that to happen. But we still got it anyways. It wasn't really that big of a deal. But it is something unusually useful that a lot of people either don't know or completely forget about with Odin, and it's sad because in terms of objective secure, it's incredibly powerful. So, more to the point, really quickly, there's two other things I want to talk about regarding Odin really quick before we move on to the Osiris. The first is, why didn't I build Transcendence? I mentioned actually like at the start that I was thinking about building Transcendence, but decided on Soul Eater specifically so I could keep pace with Osiris's equally unnatural self-sustain, which I didn't know at the time he wasn't going to go for. But why would you build Transcendence on Odin? Well, there are a couple of reasons. First off, and more importantly, Odin's abilities, all of them, have unusually high scaling, and Transcendence by itself will very likely give you approximately 100 power once you fully stack that. You get the full stacks on that, it converts 3% of your mana. Like right here, if it gives you 40 base power and then it converts 3% of your mana, right? So that's 33 power right there with the mana that I already have default, right? So that's 73 power. That doesn't even include the 1050 mana that it gives you by itself, which actually puts it up at 100 power. It would have given me roughly 100 power at full stacks compared to the 65 of, the 40 of Evolved Soul Eater. I was thinking actually it had 45 magic power. I was doing my math wrong. Ignore me, I had it flipped in my head. So that's 60 more power. That's a fairly decent amount of damage when you factor in Odin's unusually high scaling. I usually build Transcendence against physical heavy comps. They had actually a magic jungler and a magic ADC, and I think actually Chernobog was mid lane, wasn't he? But no, Oleron was mid lane. They had a magic jungler, so they had the magic guardian, the magic mid, which are fairly standard, and then they had the magic jungler making 3 magic, 2 physical. The reason why I usually build Transcendence against physical heavy comps is because I can then build Glad Shield, magic protection item, usually Bulwark of Hope in this instance, and then Breastplate of Valor. Get a little bit of power out of Breastplate of Valor and 20% cooldowns and MP5. The second reason Transcendence is really important to Odin is the mana. You probably noticed this throughout the match, and I actually mentioned this at least on 2 separate occasions. Odin's very mana hungry. He's an ability-based warrior, and Bird Bomb, which is the combination Raven Shout Lunge, that is 2 abilities for 1 attack. That is very costly in terms of mana, and if you whiff, you've just thrown out a lot of mana without having done anything. Transcendence makes mistakes with Bird Bomb. Bird Bomb misses less costly by simply having more mana, more MP5. It's not quite as damaging to your sustainability in a fight if you miss a Bird Bomb, if you have Transcendence. This is actually another reason why Warrior's Axe is so important. Sundering Axe loses the mana restoration, but Warrior's Axe actually gives you a little bit of mana. It's not much, but you would be really surprised in the long term how much of a difference that little bit of mana makes every 15 or so seconds that you typically hit that. And it comes off cooldown. That makes a difference. If I'm building Transcendence, I'll usually go for Bluestone. I'm doubling down on that damage. I'll still usually build Heartseeker, and then my 3 middle items will be very heavily protection items. But when I'm building Soul Eater, I go out of my way to use Warrior's Axe, specifically because Soul Eater heals only my health. I need Warrior's Axe for a little bit of mana regeneration. Granted, I'm still supplementing this with mana potions, with the mana buff, with the totem, but that little bit of mana can really make a difference in the long run. So that's why I built these two first. These 3 items, Witchblade was reactive. They had a lot of auto attackers. I built Witchblade. Got me cooldowns, got me to that 40% cooldowns. It's a glorious day. Everyone's happy. Great. Genji's Guard I built because, again, specifically the cooldown reduction. If I'm not looking for the cooldown reduction, if I already have or expect to have 40% cooldowns throughout my build, I'll go for Bulwark of Hope, because that combined with Raven Shield makes you even harder to kill, especially if you don't have Soul Eater, you went with the Transcendence Bluestone Pendant combination instead, then you're going to want that health shield to make you last even longer in fights, because you don't have the healing from Soul Eater. So it really depends on where you're going here with this. Now, let's talk about Osiris, alright? Now that we've talked about Odin's pros and cons. Osiris, I'm going to talk about Mannequin Scepter because this is fairly important for Osiris. This is great if you are really certain your landing opponent is an auto attacker, because it reduces attack speed by 4.5%, which early game is a fairly nice effect. Okay? And this can stack 3 times, so that's even nicer. This is impactful, specifically in that circumstance. Hugely significant. Odin doesn't usually go for an auto attack build. I've seen it tried. I've myself tried it. It's not great. I'll mention that in brief why in a bit. But Mannequin Scepter is really bad against ability-based warriors or ability-based opponents in general because, yeah, sure, you're getting 10 basic attack damage, you're getting 10 physical protection, and you're doing a little bit of burn. Yeah. But that attack speed reduction is almost meaningless against anybody who uses abilities. Why he built this when very likely he was going to be against me as an Odin, I could not tell you. The only thing I can think of is he assumed I was going to jungle, and Daji was the solo lane, and he built that so that way Daji couldn't auto-attack him to death, because auto-attack Daji is, frankly, slept on, and is extremely dangerous in the solo lane if you do it right, and transfers very nicely to the late game. We'll talk about that when we do a Daji solo lane episode. But that's the only thing I can think of that would cause him to build Mannequin Scepter here. And then probably cursed the day that he built Mannequin Scepter, or that Mannequin Scepter was invented when he saw I was in lane. It's possible. I don't know if this is necessarily 100% the truth, but it does explain why Mannequin Scepter would be built here against an Odin, because building Mannequin Scepter against any ability-based laning opponent in solo lane is asking to die, okay? This right here, this choice by itself is the biggest reason Osiris did as badly as he did. Okay, yes, the first 4 levels, Osiris was absolutely able to kick me all over the lane. Completely accurate. In the next few levels, from like, I want to say 5 to, what was it, level 8 I think that I evolved Soul Eater? Yeah, still gave me a run for my money. Once I finished that Soul Eater, the burn from this and the damage from Mystical Mail stopped meaning anything. Okay? And I wasn't hiding my intentions of building Soul Eater. When you get the level 1 gloves on Odin, and the Odin has Warrior's Axe, it's 98% likely that Odin is going for Soul Eater. He probably safely assumed I was going for Soul Eater. This means nothing in the face of Soul Eater. This is actually a big reason why Soul Eater is so popular right now in the solo lane. And this is great evidence why. Mystical Mail really hurts in the long term if you have no way of healing yourself in lane. Under normal circumstances against Odin, this would be very effective. And before Soul Eater was an item, it was very effective against Odin, because Odin's self-heal options before Soul Eater was Warrior's Axe, Stone of Gaia, Mail of Renewal. Mail of Renewal is trash and has been for a while. So that's not really a viable option. Stone of Gaia typically heals too slowly to matter in a fight at any level, so that wasn't really going to help. But once Soul Eater became an item that turned out to be very effective for ability-based gods, boom! Mystical Mail's effectiveness as a solo lane item fell off hard, because you can very easily out-heal Mystical Mail's damage. There are certain warriors I will still occasionally build this on, and I will build it early. Osiris is not one of them. The only real point at this particular point in the game's history that you would want Mystical Mail in the solo lane is if your wave clear is trash and you want to use your minions. If you want to, let me phrase that. If you want to box the enemy while their minion wave is alive, you build Mystical Mail, because Mystical Mail will kill the minions while you're killing the enemy solo laner. If this was Osiris' strategy, there are two problems with this. One, Osiris' auto-attack chain has 2 AoEs. Alright, that's really effective for clearing waves. Even if Osiris only has one ability that's even remotely useful for wave clear, his auto-attacks are absolutely incredible for clearing waves. Second, he already knew by that point that I wasn't terribly interested in boxing him. I was interested in boxing him after I finished Soul Eater. Even then, yeah, we would spar occasionally where I'd try to get some poke, but I very rarely committed on any of those. Usually I would poke, run away, poke, run away. He often wasn't able to maintain a close enough distance to actually box me for sustained amounts of time, so this wasn't really helping him in that regard either. These are the two primary reasons why Mystical Mail was an error here. Breastplate of Determination, that's fine. In all honesty, that's okay. I can understand that. Genji's Guard, great item. I think Osiris personally should have gone with Shogun's Kusari. A little bit less magic protections, but you get some auto attack speed in there. You still get the same cooldown reduction. It's pretty nice. Runeforged Hammer, which is often used wrong. Let me explain. On paper, this sounds absolutely startlingly amazing. 30 physical power, 250 health, HP and MP5. A beautiful passive. Enemies take 20% increased damage from you if they are affected by crowd control. Sounds amazing until you sit down and realize this Osiris, at the time, and even by the end of the game, had only 30 physical power. His basic attacks, 20% extra damage on his basic attacks, is a great big whopping, hairy 22 more damage per auto attack. Keep in mind, at this point, I had already finished Witchblade. This does not include my protections either. This is 146 basic attack damage before my protections. We already discussed, and keep in mind, he's got no penetration. I'm fully mitigating 75% of his auto attack damage incoming. Fully. No issues. I'm not even going to factor in my ult, because that doesn't even matter here. That's like 4 damage that it's reducing it by. So I'm mitigating 75% of... I'm going to be generous and round up his basic attack damage with Runeforged to 150. 75% of that is gone. What do you have left? You've got... What is it? It's like 40... Yeah. It's just about... It's like 105 with Runeforged. Okay, Runeforged is effective if you have a lot of damage. Osiris did not. This was a waste. This actually, and I see this item not used as often as it could be because people keep trying to build it on tanks. Stop building this on tanks. Don't build Runeforged Hammer on tanks. Build it on damage dealers. Okay? Build it. You want a really good time? Build this on Artemis. Get an enemy in a trap. Instant kill. Basically. Not even kidding. They're just dead. Okay? Look at Artemis's passive if you don't know what I'm talking about. And then read Runeforged Hammer's passive again. I'll do an episode on that in the future. Don't worry about that. But Runeforged Hammer is trash on anyone who isn't doing damage. Osiris was not doing damage. He was not hitting hard. He was barely even tickling people. I've seen clods of dirt do more damage than this Osiris's build. Okay? That's not to be mean to Hades here. It's the nature of this build. It seems like something that was pulled off of a bad SMITE build website. Okay? I want you to understand this is not how you build Osiris under most circumstances. Okay? Mystical Mail is great if you have bad wave clear. Osiris does not have bad wave clear. Mannequin Scepter is good against auto attackers. This might have been an honest mistake by the Osiris. They might have assumed that Daji was coming in. I can let this slide, but this is a big reason why Osiris had a hard time. Breastplate of Determination and Genji's Guard aren't too bad. Breastplate of Determination is frankly fantastic. Genji's Guard should have been Shogun's Kusari. You already had Mannequin Scepter. Why wouldn't you want to increase your attack speed more? Runeforged Hammer is trash on anybody who isn't going full damage. Just facts. This would have been fine. Whatever cloak this was going to be, fantastic. That's what Osiris needed before Runeforged Hammer. But I want you to understand that these are the issues. Don't fall into the trap of, ooh, it increases my health, it must be tanky. No. 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 This is for damage dealers. 20% increased damage means nothing if you don't do damage. Okay? This used to be something that solo laners could get away with because it used to increase the damage that the target took from all sources. Okay? When that was its passive, then solo laners could make a pretty significant impact with this. Once they changed it to just you, it at that point stopped being a solo lane item. And now it needs to be an ADC item or a jungler item. I typically will build this on specific junglers, who I'll talk about later, because it's really, really effective with their higher damage output. And again, I will also build this with certain hunters. Artemis is my favorite one, but she's by no means the only hunter I've built this on. But it shouldn't be here, on an almost full tank Osiris. I understand that the point was probably to increase the damage Mystical Mail was doing. Mystical Mail was not doing enough damage to make that matter. Okay? It's just how it goes. So with that being said, thank you all very much for joining me. If you liked this, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, please ignore me. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, suggestions, or requests, please leave them down in the comment section below. And thank you all very much for joining me, and have a great 24 hours.